And we are back. This is Kings for Queens. We're doing our Devil's Advocate segment of the show. I kind of took over for Brother Abdul because I'm not sure he knows what to do with the segment. So, Brother Abdul, this is the part where Rodney Adams actually comes in as Devil's Advocate.
Welcome back. And we're on segment 2. I apologize. I'm lost in technology. I am. My age was showing because I couldn't find the page. So. I do apologize. All right. So we're back in segment 2, Devil's Advocate. I won't be doing too much of that today, I don't think. But let's get right to it. All right. Our first question is, what are the benefits of lying about history? So I'm gonna hit you with that one first, comments, because I know that you're gonna probably.
There's some great benefits you can self-promote because if you did something wrong and you're the one that's in charge of history, you can make it sound great, like it didn't even happen, or you can have a great excuse for the bullshit that you did. So hey, if I was in charge of history, that's exactly that's what I was supposed to do, right? That's what I was taught anyway by people who actually control history and allow us to learn wherever the hell you want us to know. It sounded kind of angry. I'm not trying to be that angry.
That sounds very angry, but
look, man, we good cop, bad cop. You got it. You good? JS.
But no, that piggybacking on what he said, it's true. I mean, the benefits of like white is right, or everybody else is inferior to white folks.
But it's not just white is right. It's because Black Americans are also doing some of this to themselves. So I don't want to make this all the white man, but there is not just white Americans, but Black Americans as well doing this changing of what actually happened and supporting it with the fact that this has been done for a very long time.
I mean, to tell you the truth, you can just look at white Jesus. You know what I mean? If you think about, I gotta touch it. But if you think about,
I don't mean to take your shine, but,
but
I was in college. I went to a Christian college, Commercial University, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I wrote an article that said Jesus Christ wasn't white. It was a very controversial article. I made a lot of enemies. Did not get expelled. I did get threatened, but I did get expelled. I basically said that Jesus Christ looked more like Osama bin Laden than he does Fabio. Right. I really didn't like that. But it's the truth. According to the text.
Shit, how could he not?
That's the area he was looking
Red Fox had the best line about that. How can a white man walk around in the desert for 33 years without a hat on and still be white? It's impossible. He'll at least get a tan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, bro. Yeah, shit, Donald Trump ain't white no more. But that's a different story. So I would say that there are zero benefits about lying about history. You do a disservice to society, to culture, to the posterity, to the nation, and even on a great scale to the world. By having a foundation of mistruths, it does no one any good. My next question, when lying goes wrong, blank is affected.
And this is in terms of history, correct?
In the historical context. So when there's a lie in history, what is the impact? And I might have stepped on some toes with my last response, but I think we still can. It's enough poison with that shit that we can really dig deeper. So go ahead, JS.
Sure. Man, this is such a wide range of the impact shit. Us, you know what I mean? And I hate to keep going back to a white and black thing, but we are affected. From lies that have went wrong. Just like we were just talking about with white Jesus. You know what I mean? These lies and people keeping up with the same lies affects everybody. You know what I mean? Just through our lifetime of me growing up in Detroit or whatever, and growing up in a black neighborhood, and I knew growing up when I seen a white person in my neighborhood, I was like, oh shit, they either coming to get drugs or those police.
Or they child molesters.
Yeah, or they child molesters. But you figure,
that's so bad that we know that looking for drugs or children.
Well, that was our thought process. I mean, I grew up in Atlanta doing the missing and murdered kids.
It's the same thing. Yeah.
I mean, we was side-eyeing everybody white.
Because I remember police would come and stop me. Me being a teenager, they would stop me, if there was something going around. So, looking for a suspect, they always came past my house. I would be on the porch. And they're like, do you know this person? So it's like I was born a suspect. You know what I mean? And so a lot of those lies, of seeing us growing up and thinking that everybody black committed a crime. And I never had a felony, Yeah. So, it's bad, but it is what it is. It's our life.
Comments?
So I think it's pretty clear and obvious that what's the question again?
When lying goes wrong.
When lying goes wrong, everyone is affected.
Everyone.
We're given the impression that everyone is negatively impacted. That's not necessarily the case. There are some people that benefit from the lies. Overall, they don't.
I was going to say, do they? Or is that short term? And the most glaring example I'm thinking about right now is the whole premise of Mexico paying for the wall, and that whole lie, the lie that's behind that idea, actually catapulted this dude into the presidency, and now here we are, 2 years later, and we're on the hook for the wall, and Mexico is giving us the finger, and you still have people screaming, we want the wall. Well, shit, the base of the wall is that Mexico was going to pay for the shit. So that lie, even the people who were going to benefit still are being impacted.
So I was in a room of intellectuals, and I disagree with some of their statements and comments. Mm-hmm. But I think one thing that was very clear to me is I'm not seeing the entire picture. And here's the thing I learned in philosophy. There's a big circle in life. Mm. You're born on a part of the circle. Mm. So you can understand that same circle from this aspect. But someone else is born on the other side of the circle. Mm. They see it from this aspect. So what they see is not necessarily wrong, right, but it's the perspective. And in order for you to fully understand the circle, you need other people to be able to tell you what they see and then collaborate that together to actually get a better, accurate picture of the circle. Mm. And he said in that process, the problem is you have different viewpoints and different ways and different communication styles, and you have people already established in certain situations that make that more and more difficult to do. And so when I was talking to these very highly respected people, and I appreciate them taking the time to talk to me about some of this stuff, because I had a whole different thought process when I was coming on here, what I was going to say, and then I had a 25-minute conversation with these dudes, and they kind of changed everything I was thinking about. So there's no easy answers here. And I don't think people understand how important history is, because it really does have the barometer or the foundation of what is going to happen currently and possibly what's going to happen in the future. So if your foundation is horrible or is corrupt, you're about to build a house that's going to collapse. And we see that in real time right now in our current culture. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, great question, but man, that's just so tough to answer.
So to talk about your aspects about history is one of the things about history that people overlook is the two basic elements of it is content and then context. So that you have people, and I'll use the Montgomery boycott as an example. And then people always say, well, the boycott lasted more than a year, and everybody was together, and there was, and so we need to boycott. We need to come together. And what people don't understand is that's content. the context of that is that those people were option locked. They had to take that stance at that time, and they had no other way of expressing themselves. Now, with integration, our impact is so significantly diluted. So that's context. We can boycott whatever. Black people are no longer a monolith to the point where we can boycott something and impact it. Except maybe Popeyes. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Did you say what? Popeyes?
Popeyes about the only business that's in every black community.
Brother Abdul, you're losing your card already.
Nah, bro.
You went to the chicken place?
There are no businesses in the black community that you can readily identify and say, that's in LA, that's in New York, that's in South Carolina, that's in Atlanta, that's in Florida, except Popeyes. I mean, you know, it's probably a few other franchises, but that would have a significant impact. That's how diluted our base is from a boycott perspective. We're no longer a monolith. So when people use the Montgomery boycott as an example, I'm saying that you gotta understand that was a group of people in a city in one industry and they were able to make that same kind of impact. And now we're across the country. We're diluted. We're in different communities. There are very few cities have a black section of town where you could make that kind of impact. And so that's what we're looking at is the lack of content and context. You got to also always understand that from a historical perspective.
Well, I have that group of people that I talked to. One of the brothers named Gemini, he made an excellent point, which is the fact that we have cell phones. We have all kinds of different ways to connect, except we're not using them to do that. We're using them to continue the current narrative. Because we have the phones, but they have the apps, and we don't make apps, and so we have the opportunity to get together, but we're so diluted, like you were saying, where 5,000 marching, that doesn't mean nothing. You have to have. I mean, everybody has to be.
It still won't happen.
When they pulled that Japanese guy off the United Airlines plane, Japan. I mean, was it Japanese?
Korean, whatever the Chinese dude. The doctor. Yeah.
They all said we're not flying United. They lost $1 billion the next following day. That's how fast they acted. That's how quick their dollars did something.
Right.
And people talk about, peaceful rally in Montgomery County, and that's how we did it. It's like, no, what happened is you shut down the buses and you shut down their money. Everything is tied to capitalism.
Exactly.
So you have to find a way to hit the pocketbooks in such a way if you want to make a change.
All right. So on that note, we're going to conclude segment 2. We'll be back in a few minutes with segment 3. And we may get a little levity in on this one. Something tells me we will.
Okay. Kings for Queens. We'll be right back.
Comics, JS, Brother Abdul Odabo.
Brother Abdul.